What's good, YouTube fam? We are still talking about these credit scores, right? We done the deep dive in the credit report. We done pulled them Jones, showed you how to mark it up, get your personal information removed. We spoke about FICO. We spoke about the difference between FICO and Vantage. Now, I'm gonna blow your mind even more. In case you didn't know this, there are different versions of FICO. I don't know if you knew that or not, because we normally just say your credit score and that's it. A lot of people don't even know that it's called a FICO score. They think all credit scores are the same, but they are not. Not only does each individual credit bureau, one of the big three, have their own individual credit scores. That's why you may have noticed that they never match. Tip, right? They all have their own version of the FICO score. Okay? FICO has different versions of the FICO score. Because remember, the FICO score is what, everybody? It's a product. Yes, it is a product that they sell to other companies. It is not issued by the government. It doesn't have shit to do with the government. The government doesn't even regulate it. They like, all right, FICO, do what you do. I mean, it's whatever. It's whatever. It's not in the FCRA. Nowhere. It's nothing. There's no law regulating it. They just do what they feel like. Okay? But there is a law that governs what and how is reported on your credit report. Keep that in mind. That's for a later video, all right? Remember, the report is not the score. The report is more important than the score. But since we, you know what I mean? Since you're here, we're going to know how all that stuff works. You feel me? We ain't leaving no stone unturned. You know what I'm saying? So y'all going to be able to protect your credit, okay? And then leverage it and make some money and become debt free and live the life that you want to live. You feel me? So anyway, getting back to it. There are over 40 different versions of this FICO score. Did y'all know that? Did you know that? Like when I first found out, I was like, what the fuck? How? What? Why? Turns out every industry has its own like nuances that it needs FICO to account for. Okay? So like for instance, credit card companies are very, very sensitive to you applying for a lot of credit cards in a short period of time. They feel that when a person is doing that, they're probably in some kind of financial trouble, and it for them is a red flag. I know we know about red flags, right? You know what I'm saying? We ain't even gonna talk about that one time. We're not gonna worry about that anyway. Whereas, let's say when we're talking about rentals or you wanting to get an apartment, a potential landlord wants to know if you've been late on your rent. Makes sense, right? If I'm going to rent to you or if you're going to rent to somebody, you want to know what's the likelihood of them actually paying you to live there, right? Because you got to pay a mortgage, so they should be paying you so you can pay the mortgage. You feel me? Makes sense. Other thing is auto loans. Same thing. Do you have repos? Have you defaulted? Do you miss payments on auto loans? Same exact thing with mortgages, right? So, for instance, FICO scores range from 1 to 10. Then even with each of those numbers, there are subcategories of it. So there's like a FICO 8 for credit cards. There's a FICO 8 specifically for banking. There's a FICO 8 auto. There's a FICO 8 home, right? So even though you just got the numbers 1 through 8, those numbers are still broken down into subcategories to cater to a specific industry. Even with your utilities, there is a FICO score specific to utilities. And Equifax actually has a score specific for utilities. Okay, that's just a random FYI. Like I said, I'm nerdy about credit, so if you nerdy about credit, you know right goddamn place. You hear me? So anyway, when you're applying for a house, mortgages are still behind the times. but they're powerful because, of course, that's what everything's ran off of, real estate, right? So the FICO model is that they use is still 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5. Okay. Credit cards, for the most part, they're either going to be using FICO 8 or FICO 9, the credit card edition. Auto loans, it really depends on what dealership you go to, because some are more up to date, so they may have a newer FICO model. And mom and pop, the side of the road joints, they may have an older FICO model. It varies. But FICO still, regardless of the number, they do have one specifically for auto loans, okay? And then with like auto loans, things like it calculate like a debt to income ratio, stuff like that, which each industry even has different parameters on what they want to see with that, okay? This is important to know so that, again, before you go out and you're just blindly applying for stuff, don't do that. Don't apply. Just don't be out here just randomly applying for stuff, y'all. Know what you're applying for, know why you're applying for it, and what you want to do with it. And then before you apply for it, know what they require. That way you don't have to go through no unnecessary denials, right? You can avoid a whole lot of headache just by looking up a company before you go there and find out what their parameters are. It's like a job interview, right? You research the company, you find out what things this company want, what do they value. You figure out whether or not you want the same thing and you value what they value. If it works, you go there, you apply. What do you got to do with your credit? You apply, right? Same thing. If they need a 680 with 2 months of banking history and they want to see, $15 in your bank account, do you have those things? If you don't have that, then don't worry about applying. Don't even try it. Save yourself the headache. Now, if it is a bank or a company that you really want to do business with, find out what their criteria is. Which one of the FICO scores do they pull? What's the minimum requirement for the FICO score that they need to see in order to give you approval, right? Once you get that information, boom, before you even apply, now you already know what's required. So now you just go do it. Do whatever you need, do what's necessary so that you can bring your FICO score up to that threshold or beyond the threshold so that you can walk in that joint confidently. You know what I'm saying? That way, you can walk in there confidently. You already know you're getting approved. You already did the research. You already did the work. You're not just out here spitting out randomness. You know what I'm saying? You're not just ad hocing it. You feel me? You're moving with a purpose. You're moving with direction and determination. Because again, we debt free, we interest free. If this helped at all, leave a comment below. In the meantime, between time, like, subscribe. Peace.